Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm doing great. You look pretty today.
Well, thank you. I tried to do a little something.
Okay. So before we get started, I do want to give you the rundown real quick. I have to do my, overview of make sure we do understand what accountability coaching is. This is not therapy. This is coaching, and where what I do as far as being your coach, I help you self-discovery. So this is your session. The floor is yours. This is your safe space. We are recording. They can't see you, but it is being recorded. And this is your opportunity to self-discover and just be your authentic self.
All right, sounds good. And you're looking refreshed today, by the way.
Well, thank you so very much. Okay, so the first thing we need to figure out is, because I already know, of course, what brought you here to accountability coaching. We have fitness goals that we're trying to reach, but what I need to know is, what is our goal? What is your goal?
My goal is to just be better with my food choices, whether if I'm eating out or cooking. And to be honest, I would also like to sway away from fast food.
Okay. So we want to be on the train of I have food at home.
I do have food at home, and
Okay.
then all of a sudden it's a great idea. Oh, you have to study this evening, so you should just pick up something really quick. It's not gonna hurt. And then that turns into, at some point, a breakfast one day, a lunch 2 days, dinner 3 days. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hold on, this isn't how this was supposed to be. And you get to the
Right.
end of the week and you're like, well, my weekend was actually supposed to be a day or two where I may, eat out a little. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I've already done it for the week. No.
Okay. So my question to you is, are you planning out your meals? Because I heard you say you have food at home, but are these meals actually planned?
No.
Okay. So that would be the step that's taking us from having food at home to ending up at the fast food restaurants. Because let's be honest here, our day-to-day is different. And sometimes work can be a little stressful, or life itself can be stressful. So of course, who is going to want or feel like cooking every day or every other day, especially if you've had a long, trying day or whatever. So the first objective would be figuring out our time management and our planning. So that would be the first thing that we need to make sure that we're working on, because the two go hand in hand, and without those two, I don't care what type of goals we set, you're not going to be able to obtain them if we don't have the time management down and if we do not have the planning down. So we want to make sure we are focusing on those two things. And so my next question is, how do you typically plan out your day to day?
What I tend to do, I look at my calendar maybe the night before to see, okay, what meetings do I have, and that's it.
Okay.
I haven't planned or really put anything into play as far as food. There are times where I do gather my lunch for the next day, and it's like, okay, well, you got lunch, you got a couple snacks, but what about when you get home? And it doesn't dawn on me until I'm in that moment. Like, you did a lot of planning for your snacks and, your lunch or even breakfast a day or two. But what about dinner? I'm like, oh my gosh, what now? So I want to get better because I tend to get overwhelmed with making a grocery list. And it's not making the grocery list, but it's going to the store, making sure I'm getting everything on the grocery list, but the grocery list doesn't equate to proper planning of the meals.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to reconstruct that and get some structure there.
Okay. So you do know meal planning does not have to look, it's not, you know, a uniform. It does not have to be the same way every time. And it does not have to be the way Sally is doing hers or Susan or whatever. Meal planning is done to benefit you. And what that means is, even if it's going to Taziki's, because that is what Brianna has started doing, because like you just mentioned, it can become overwhelming, you know, with trying to figure it out. And the beauty of it is, it's not negative or anything, because everybody is not meant to cook, or everybody doesn't like to cook, you know. So with it just being you have a little more flexibility to be able to go and purchase, you know, your meals or whatever that's already prepped, versus trying to figure out meal planning for a family. It's just you. So we don't necessarily have to take away the outside eating. We just maybe need to swap out the restaurants, because if it's going to work out for you to be able to go to said restaurant and get a family meal, we're gonna call it a family meal, even though, you know, so let's say it's enough for you to eat off for the week off that. And if, you know, that works for you, then that would be my suggestion, to just continue, you know. And then that way you're spending less time at the grocery store. You're not really overwhelmed, because all you're doing is literally picking it up, taking it, and then putting it in the containers. And that's all, you know, you had to do. Now, that is an option. That is not necessarily how you have to do it. If you wanted to do your own prepping, we could do one sheet pans. You know, the meals where you take your cookie sheet, put your salmon and shrimp, broccoli, sweet potatoes, all on one pan. And then now we have lunch and dinner, and really depending on how we do with the protein, you can make shrimp tacos, or salmon tacos, or salmon salad, or salmon and the vegetable. Like, it's so many different things you can do. And if you wanted to add chicken to it, you can pick up a rotisserie chicken. So we're done. We use one sheet pan that took a good 15 minutes to put everything on. Then you're plating it, you know, into the meal prep containers.
Okay.
And then I think, I know Sam's, Costco, they both sell those, you know, already made meals. And you can get that too, if that's what you want, you know, because it's ultimately going to be up to you. We don't want to buy too much. We want to be consistent, but we also want to make sure that we're not wasting food. You know, we're actually eating it. We don't want to cook something or buy something and then we still over there at whoever restaurant, you know, because it's defeating the purpose.
Literally. You ever like go to the grocery store and you spend so much time there that you're too tired to actually start your meal prep, and you just end up going to the drive-through anyways, and it's like,
yes. Look, I've done that. Look, I've done it 1,000 times. 1,000 at least. But here lately, Amanda, let me tell you, and I was telling the young lady who just left from Pilates, like, my mindset is so different now, and I, of course, I have to give thanks and props to the tea because of the strong, you know, curving of the appetite, to where my taste buds have literally changed. As where I would run down the street to America and get a bean burrito, you know, girl, I ain't been to nobody's restaurant. No, I'm not getting nothing. I have food at home. And yes, I'm tired or whatever, but that's the whole point of planning. So I know I gotta eat. I'm gonna have to go in there and fix it. And it's just those non-negotiables for me right now. I'm not buying my vegan candy that I used to have. I'm saying no to all that stuff because I know what my ultimate goal is. And it's working out very, very well. like every day I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, girl, you changed some more, you know. So
Yes.
it's definitely it's working out. I'm trying to see.
I have to send you this picture too of myself in this dress.
Okay.
Because I wore the dress to this conference for work this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I look different in the dress. And I don't have a before picture because it was like in October.
Yeah.
But I look different in that dress. I'll just say that. So I don't know what has happened here lately, but you know I have more energy to do burpees, and you know I absolutely hate those.
Oh, Amanda.
Yeah.
Okay, even the smile is bigger. Now, I'm just gonna listen. I know it's definitely because what I'm noticing when people have got on this new tea, the confidence is changing. It's like you're literally able to see yourself for the baddie you are, okay? And it's like it's making you want to do better. Well, first of all, you ain't hungry. Let's start there. Look, you don't be wanting nothing to eat, so. But I think it's just kind of like changing your perception of things, and I'm really like Amanda. This is good. I can tell over the last 2 weeks your mindset done changed though. And the beauty of it that is happening at your pace. And a lot of times, you know, people, they look at other people's journey. Well, she was able to accomplish this in 3 months. And here I am. That's their story, not yours. Everybody's different. And the ultimate goal is growth when it comes to this fitness journey. It's not just trying to lose weight. I want you to grow mentally and physically. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to give yourself some grace.
Mm-hmm. So during the fellowship, we have lunch and learns like every week, every Wednesday. And so we had one of our regional COOs to come and talk to us. And he was like, y'all just ask me anything. Mm-hmm. And this is a black man. He's only like probably 37.
Oh,
got
wow.
dreads.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's that dude, you know what I'm saying? And he's very much still well-rounded, well-cultured. Like, he's not shrinking himself in no type of way. And so he was a pre-med major once upon a time before he started pursuing, you know, health administration. Mm-hmm. And it really touched me because I'm like, I'm still on that journey to become a physician, but now a physician leader. And so I pulled him to the side and I was like, can I talk to you about that real quick? We ended up spending an extra hour, like basically a one-on-one. He was like, let me give you some real talk. You're going to have to put everything that you want, it is a sacrifice. And he talked about how he's in South Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. His wife and stepdaughter, they're in Florida.
Okay.
And so that's the sacrifice, and she supports the movement completely, 100%. She's also like a physician, so like they're both in their prime, the primes of their careers, doing their thing. And he's like, you know what? I don't get to have that family time like everybody else. That's the sacrifice. So it should be no reason that I'm not in the gym 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't even have these things yet. What am I doing? And from that point on, I just began to look at things differently. Like within the past week or so, you've seen where I have been in the gym a day outside of our original, schedule. And I'm like, it's literally that conversation because it dawned on me like, you're not doing enough of what you should be doing. You're not stewarding well, and God has been dealing with me literally since the end of 2024 about stewarding well. You've got to steward well. Steward the body well because this is a borrowed thing at the end of the day. He gave us this, and when we return it, and it's in a bad condition, that's unacceptable. And I find that to be unacceptable. I want to return my body That's a guy in a good condition. So that's just where my mindset has shifted. And so now I gotta deal with the food part because I realized I got a bad sense of thinking when it comes to food.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a great relationship, not a great dynamic.
So what would the relationship with food look like?
Well, I'm always thinking about the next meal, and I'm thinking if that decision is shaping whatever I'm craving, and it's like you got to get past that.
Okay. So I would like to say I don't think it's anything wrong with the thought. I mean, because when I'm eating, I'm thinking about, man, yeah, I'm just being honest because literally, like, if I'm eating right now, girl, I'm thinking about, yeah, I'm gonna eat this tomorrow. Like, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's the self-control, though, that you have to know that, okay, you're eating that tomorrow. Like, you don't have to eat. It's another day. Hopefully there's another day, is what I'm saying. But, like, you don't have to consume food. A lot of times I think people just eat because they're bored. They don't have anything else to do. And in reality, you do. You have something else you could be doing other than stuffing, your body or whatever. But one thing that's going to help you continue on this journey too, the feeling that you feel, like that smile that I see on that pic, it's gonna start becoming contagious. You're gonna start noticing the joy that you feel with prioritizing yourself and making the sacrifices. Now, I totally agree with what he was saying about the sacrifices, and that's what separates you from the other people. What you're willing to give up, and the lengths that you are willing to go to make your life easier, and obtain your goals and all that. That what separates you from other people, and that's what actually creates the discipline. Like you mentioned about not having the family versus where this man got this and he got all this stuff going on, but he's still making time for himself. That's the reason why I'm consistently always talking about, well, I got this going on, I got this. And at what point do y'all see me drop a ball?
I don't see you dropping.
And it's because I'm waking up early, I'm going to bed, I'm giving up some things to make my life better, and to also lead from the front to let you all know that it's very much attainable. If somebody like me can achieve all this, then why can't you do it? And it just requires a little more sacrifice. Hey, I gotta get up, I gotta plan, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So one thing I want to make sure we talk about before we wrap up, because we got like a few more, it's almost time, but let's make sure that we are planning. Now I know I heard about the calendar, but what I didn't hear is like everything going in the calendar.
Because nothing goes in there except my things.
Okay, so we are academic baddies. We are fitness baddies. Like you gotta look at yourself as the version that you are trying to become. So we know that in order to, like you said, be a good steward, to handle what God has coming for us, we got to be able to manage what we already got. And in managing it, that requires planning. So whether that planning looks like day to day for you, or you go ahead and do it like I do on Sundays and just, go through the week or whatever and make sure XYZ fill in, if something is added. But I literally know, like I had a call before yours, Pilates session before that, and I gotta go to Little Rock when I get finished. Like all that stuff is on my calendar. Me posting my homework, even though it was already done, but I still post, like you put everything in there.
So I do have one question, because what the calendar I'm speaking of is just work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't like to mix work and like my personal stuff on the weekends together. So it's like, how do you balance using two different calendars.
I'm
Like
not
the
using
Google.
two different calendars. Why are we using two different calendars? Because the calendar is not, that's in your mind. You trying to differentiate between the two, and you're making it more difficult. Like, you're making this thing bigger than what it has to be, when we can just put it in the one main device on there with alerts and keep it moving. Why do we need two calendars?
I guess because the other one is temporary. The work one is temporary.
Yeah.
But
Just like clients are temporary, right? But they still go on my calendar.
okay, point taken.
I mean, I'm being honest. So you still gonna go on my calendar, but with everything being in one place, it makes it flow together. Versus, because what end up happening, you got some over there on the work calendar, but you done added some on your personal calendar, but you forgot to look at the work calendar, and then now you done overwhelmed yourself and overbooked or whatever. And on the weekends, why are we doing work stuff anyway, if you don't work on the weekend?
Oh, and that's the thing. I don't even look at the work calendar on the weekend. I look at it Sunday evening for like Mondays and maybe Tuesdays, and that's it.
Yeah, so let's say real quick, we got Monday. You go in and you put for Monday, wake up, whatever, 5:40, devotion, 5:50, breakfast, 16, like that. That's how you do work this time. Then after, whatever you're doing after, all of it can go on there on that one calendar.
Okay.
Okay, so before we go, I want to make sure that you are going to plug everything in, including your workout, the study time, and on them study time, whatever you put, like the study or your non-negotiables, meaning like the studying or your self-care, your rest, you need to also in the note, up there, if it say study, make sure you put D&D too, so you'll know, boom, at this time I need to put my phone on D&D. I'm not surfing no social media. I'm not going to be on the phone. This is my study time. We're creating healthy habits that's going to turn around through consistency, that's going to become discipline. And the only way you can be disciplined is if you continue doing things that you have been struggling with and or don't want to do. You have to keep showing up regardless. And we're going to show up through that calendar. That's how we're going to start off. Now, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Bree's calls. Her first few weeks she struggled with that. But then once she started saying, oh, snaps, it actually do work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different Bree now. So let's start with that, and then make sure we are planned and prepped for next week. So whatever that looks like for you, going to Tasike's, getting something, or whoever that other one that you was telling me about, the one that's like it or something, or you're gonna go get the food to cook and then put it in the oven and just make it work from there. But also keep in mind, you have to get there, as far as like where I said I haven't had the Oreos. I ain't had no Oreos. Can you believe I had no Oreos? No Oreos, no candy, nothing. So you like dates. Let's eat them. Let's start replacing that for your sweet treat, and watch how it just changes. Be consistent with drinking your tea, and be consistent with showing up for you. So don't go in that grocery store buying nothing that's not aligning with your goals. If you know that pack of candy gonna make you want a sundae from somewhere, then maybe a piece of cake from Cheesecake Factory, leave it in the store until you develop, the willpower to be able to just be like, no, I can have one cookie and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go, is there anything you wanted to discuss? And then, of course, be thinking about what you want to discuss for next week. And that's what I didn't tell you. So your goal starting is, from now through July the 31st would be 20, wait, I say 15 pounds until July. You got till July 31st. And what I'll do is once we get off here, so either gonna be later on this evening or tomorrow, I'm gonna send you every week. You'll get an overview of what you should be focusing on. Whatever it was you struggled with the previous week, like you'll have feedback on there as well. And then so you're gonna have active days outside of the days that we meet. So you got 2 days that you're gonna have on there that you're gonna be responsible for.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're gonna have this chart where you're gonna fill in your weight, and every week you're gonna have to update it in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's where the accountability comes in, because you got to show up every week, and then we got to discuss what happened, so we course correcting, and that's how you learn it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Well, Amanda, I will get that information to you by tomorrow night. And be thinking of whatever, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. And I will see you Monday. Have a great week. This video will be posted sometime later, girl. I got to go record the farmer's market too. So I got too much content for today.
Well, looking forward to it, and thank you so much.
And thank you, Amanda, and I will see you next Saturday. It'll probably the same time. It'll probably be the same time too. Or maybe the 9:40, but we'll discuss it before Saturday.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, all right. Go enjoy your Saturday, Amanda.
All right, you
All right,
too.
bye-bye.